Kings 1. King David was very old. Even when they covered him with blankets, he could not get warm. His servants advised him, "A young virgin must be found for our master the king, to take care of the king's needs and to serve as his nurse. She can also sleep with you and keep our master the king warm." So they looked through all Israel for a beautiful young woman and found Abishag, a Shunammite, and brought her to the king. The young woman was very beautiful. She became the king's nurse and served him, but the king was not intimate with her. Okay, so weird kind of situation here that they're searching for a young woman, but it is making sure that we know no intimacy came about there. So not a marriage. Yes, sleeping with him in the way of keeping his body warm. So he is very old. Blankets are not keeping him warm. He's not able to generate his own body heat to keep himself warm. So he needs someone to keep him warm. Why they need to go and get a young virgin, I have no clue. I do not understand why they need to, like, he's got plenty of wives. Why can't one of his wives or, concubines just come and warm him? I do not understand why there aren't other methods they could do this, why they need to come and get a young virgin to do this. I really, really have no idea why this is the solution. This is one of those things where people talk about, well, the Bible can't be true because of, like, well, why would you put details like this in here? Like, this doesn't add anything to the story. This doesn't make it beautiful in any way. Like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. You mean they did that for the king? And I'm just going like, why would they do that? I could come up with other solutions that don't require. And then why does she need to be beautiful? Like, what does that have to do with her ability to serve him? Now, she's acting as his nurse, so taking care of him. There's plenty of other servants that could do this too. And to keep our master the king warm. My master the king will be warm. Okay, what do we have on the king's needs? She will stand before the king. Stand before means to attend to, serve. So, take care of the king's needs. Like, this is just straight up weird. Why you need to have that, I don't get it, but we get here at the end to make sure you know no intimacy is taking place here, no hanky-panky, no shenanigans. She's not going to have an heir, a parent, or anything for the king, just serving the king's needs, which certainly are a lot of other servants that are around, and wives and concubines. So I don't get it. Maybe young people are warmer. I don't understand. Now, Adonijah, son of David, and Haggith, was promoting himself, boasting, "I will be king." So, son of Haggith, but since the formula usually designates the father, who in this case is David, the translation specifies that David was Adonijah's father. Okay. Haggith was one of David's wives, so she was listed there. Okay, just listed. Okay, nothing more about him or her. Okay. So Adonijah is the fourth son. So why is the fourth son claiming that he's going to be king? We had Absalom, and shoot, I'm trying to remember the other son that was killed. So we got two. Why would the fourth son be stepping up instead of the third son? Boy, I cannot remember the son that Absalom kills. Anyway, we have Haggith, the fourth one, promoting himself. "I will be king." He managed to acquire chariots and horsemen, as well as 50 men to serve as his royal guard. Now his father had never corrected him by saying, "Why do you do such things?" He was also very handsome and had been born right after Absalom. Okay, so he's born right after Absalom. I thought Absalom was the oldest. She gave birth to him after Absalom. This does not imply they had the same mother. Absalom's mother was Maacah, not Haggith. Okay, but how are you the fourth one if you're born right after the first one? That's a weird thing. But now his father had never corrected him by saying, "Why do you do such things?" So after the incident with Bathsheba and the judgment, that your house is going to end up with all kinds of strife, David does not take action to correct his children who are doing things out there. He doesn't do that whatsoever. Imago Day, hey, how are you going? How's your day going? Going well. Going well. Thanks for asking. Hope you're doing well, Imago. All right, so we have a son who is trying to make a claim to the throne. He collaborated with Joab, son of Zeruiah, and with Abithar the priest, and they supported him. So he's pretty intelligent here. He's getting the king of the army, and he's getting a priest. So he has got he's got the military behind him. He's got the priest behind him so that he can have the support of the people. But Zadok the priest, Benaniah, son of Jehoiada, Nathan the prophet, Shammai, Rai, and David's elite warriors did not rally themselves to Adonijah. Okay, so we have the prophet Nathan is not going behind it. Another priest, Zadok, is not there. And then we've got some others as well. Some of the elite warriors. So some of the elite warriors not there, but you've got the commander of the army over there. So now we're starting to this could be dangerous. We could have a splitting of things. They did not go to Adonijah. Adonijah sacrificed sheep, cattle, and fatted steer at the stone of Zoheleth near En-rogel. He invited all his brothers, the king's sons, and as well as all the men of Judah, the king's servants. He did not invite Nathan the prophet, Benaniah, the elite warriors, or his brother Solomon. Okay, very interesting. So he's having, like, this follows the pattern in some ways of Absalom. He is trying to get power for himself. He is rallying people to himself. He is throwing a feast like Absalom did. So in a lot of ways, it feels like, it looks like, this is not going to go well. You're following the pattern of Absalom. All right. So he is meeting near Serpent, the stone of Serpent near En-rogel. Okay, this doesn't sound good. The stone of Serpent? Is he actually following after God? I mean, he is making a sacrifice. He has the priest on his side. It doesn't say that the priest is there, but it already identified the priest is with him, and that priest has shown to be a follower of God. So maybe this name is just kind of a, caution, red flag, something going on here. The stone of Serpent. I don't know what's up with that. So I've got my caution. I'm ready to go. What? I don't think Adonijah's the right guy here. It's already setting it up that Nathan the prophet is not on his side. He doesn't have all the priests on his side. He doesn't have all the elite warriors on his side. So Adonijah has not got everyone on his side. So those that are already mentioned again, they are not there. And then also all the king's sons, as well as all the men of Judah, the king's servants, but his brother Solomon is not there. Nathan said to Bathsheba, Solomon's mother, has it been reported to you that Haggith's son Adonijah has become king behind our master David's back? Now let me give you some advice as to how you can save your life and your son's life. Okay, so Solomon is not there. Bathsheba not there. Nathan the prophet goes to Bathsheba. Nathan isn't going to David. Nathan is going to Bathsheba in regards to this. So here's the plan. Visit King David and say to him, my master, O king, did you not solemnly promise your servant, surely your son Solomon will be king after me. He will sit on the throne. So this is one reason, perhaps, why Nathan and Zadok and some of the others are not on board with Adonijah, is the fact that David has already promised the throne to Solomon. It must be known. Nathan knows this. So go tell him, you made a promise, O king. And so why has Adonijah become king? So just come in with the curious. Didn't you make this promise? So why is this happening? While you are still there speaking to the king, I will arrive and verify your report. So you're going to go. You're going to make the question to the king. I will come in and verify the report. So we see that the meeting is taking place with the intent of doing it, but it hasn't yet, or maybe it's not fully yet been completed. Anyway, just wondering the timing here. So Bathsheba visited the king in his private quarters. The king was very old, and Abishag, the Shunammite, was serving the king. So we got to go back to and remind you of that. Sometimes I'm just like, why? I already know that. Why do we need that? But there is this compounding. And also remember, this very likely was oral, that you were reciting it. Those kinds of repetition help you in memorizing things. They also are different when you hear them said as opposed to reading them. So Bathsheba bowed down on the floor before the king. The king said, "What do you want?" She replied, "My master, you swore an oath to your servant by the Lord your God, Solomon, your son will be king after me, and he will sit on my throne. But now look, Adonijah has become king. But you, my master the king, are not even aware of it. He has sacrificed many many cattle, steer, and sheep, and has invited all the king's son, Abishag the priest, and Joab the commander of the army. But he has not invited your servant Solomon. Now, my master, O king, all Israel is watching anxiously to see who is named to succeed my master the king on the throne. If a decision is not made when my master the king is buried with his ancestors, my son Solomon and I will be considered state criminals." Okay, so she goes in, she's giving all the details. We didn't have all of these details mentioned above in the statement of Nathan, but we already knew these details that were coming above, the sacrifices and all of those things. So we get all of this reported by her to King David. But here, will be guilty, considered offenders, treated as traitors. Okay, state criminals is weird. I like traitors better than criminals. Anyway, they're going to be as good as dead. That's, Just then, while she was still speaking to the king, Nathan the prophet arrived. The king was told, "Nathan the prophet is here." Nathan entered and bowed before the king with his face to the floor. Nathan said, "My master, O king, did you not announce Adonijah will be king after me? He will sit on my throne? For today he has gone down and sacrificed many cattle, steers, and sheep, and has invited all the king's son, the army commanders, and Abishag the priest. At this moment they are having a feast in his presence, and they have declared, 'Long live King Adonijah!' But he did not invite me, your servant, or Zadok the priest, or Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, or your servant Solomon. Has my master the king authorized this without informing your servants? Who should succeed my master the king on his throne?" So Nathan comes in and he collaborates everything. So this is the plan. Bathsheba, you go in and say, "Hey, didn't you promise my son?" I will come in with a different curiosity and say, "Hey, did you know that, is this your plan for Adonijah? I'm confused by this. And oh, BT Dubs, he didn't invite me. He didn't invite other priests. He didn't invite other important officials to you. Or your son Solomon, who I thought you had said was supposed to be king." King David responded, "Summon Bathsheba." She came and stood before the king. Okay, why does he need to summon Bathsheba? So when Nathan arrives and they bring Nathan in, they probably take Bathsheba out. So it's bring her back in is probably what's going on. You wouldn't often just have everybody staying in the room when you're visiting the king. It's one kind of person at a time. That's very likely what happened. So we got to call her back. The king swore an oath. "As certainly as the Lord lives, he who has rescued me from every danger, I will keep today the oath I swore to you by the Lord God of Israel. Surely Solomon your son will be king after me. He will sit in my place on my throne." Bathsheba bowed down to the king with her face to the floor and said, May my master, King David, live forever. Perhaps not. I mean, he's on his deathbed. King David said, summon Zadok the priest, Nathan the prophet, and Benaiah, son of Jehoiada. They came before the king. So he's got to summon Nathan the prophet. Nathan must have, when Bathsheba came in, he left the room. So there could also be Bathsheba reports, she leaves the room. Nathan comes in, reports, he leaves the room. Then he summons Bathsheba, and then he summons all of these other people to come in. So he is summoning, the king is taking action. They came before the king, and he told them, take your master's servants with you, put my son Solomon on my mule, and lead him down to Gihon. There Zadok the priest and Nathan the prophet will anoint him king over Israel. Then blow the trumpet and declare, long live King Solomon. Then follow him up as he comes and sits on my throne. He will be king in my place. I have decreed that he will be ruler over Israel and Judah. Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, responded to the king, so be it. May the Lord God of my master the king confirm it. As the Lord is with my master the king, so may he be with Solomon, and may he make him even a greater king than my master King David. So Zadok the priest, Nathan the prophet, Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, the Kerethites and the Pelethites went down, put Solomon on King David's mule, and led him to Gihon. Zadok the priest took a horn filled with olive oil from the tent and poured it on Solomon. The trumpet was blown, and all the people declared, long live King Solomon! All the people followed him, playing flutes and celebrating so loudly they made the ground shake. That is quite fascinating. Flutes making the ground shake. All the people went up after him, and the people were playing flutes and rejoicing with great joy, and the ground split open at the sound of them. So there is so much rejoicing at this that it's shaken the ground, probably more figuratively than literally, but trying to show the exuberance of what is taking place. Now Adonijah and all his guests heard the commotion just as they had finished eating. When Joab heard the sound of the trumpet, he asked, why is there such a noisy commotion in the city? As he was still speaking, Jonathan, son of Abishag, the priest, arrived. Adonijah said, come in, for an important man like you must bring good news. Jonathan replied to Adonijah, no, our master King David has made Solomon king. The king sent with him Zadok the priest, Nathan the prophet, Benaiah son of Jehoiada, the Kerethites and the Pelethites, and they put him on the king's mule. Then Zadok the priest and Nathan the prophet anointed him king in Gihon. They went up from there rejoicing, and the city is in an uproar. This is the sound you hear. So, so in other words, why go to Gihon? Because, hey, their son Adonijah and the city uproar is going to happen, and we're all going to know, we're all going to see that, it's all going to take place. And we'll know about it, and everybody's going to know, and you can't stop it. Zack Attack, morning, tip of the cap, friend, tip of the cap, good to see you. Furthermore, so this is all happening, it's all ongoing, it's a rejoicing, you're in here having a meal, they're out there announcing to the world who the king is. Furthermore, Solomon has assumed the royal throne. The king's servants have even come to congratulate our master King David, saying, may your God make Solomon more famous than you, and make him an ever greater king than you. Then the king leaned on the bed and said, the Lord God of Israel is worthy of praise, because today he has placed a successor on my throne and allowed me to see it. So, not only, it's even worse. Solomon is sitting in the chair, the throne of David. He has taken the throne. He is not only been coronated, he has been processed. And The king has declared how blessed it is that the Lord has allowed him to see a successor on the throne, not have it happen after his death. He has got to be a part of the coronation of the next king. I, by the way, think this is a fantastic practice. If the king is at the state in which they can no longer function, and I'm not picking on any particular king or queen or any of that. I'm just saying in general. If you get to the state at which you cannot function, waiting for the king to die is not a great plan for a governmental system. Okay? You should install the next king before the previous one ends up not being able to do anything adequately, and you don't know who's actually running things. So better to process on down the line of things rather than to let the degrading get in the way and interfere. So anyway, that's just my thoughts on things. So all of Adonijah's guests panic. They jumped up and rushed off their separate ways. Like, I'm here at Adonijah, not getting caught. I'm not getting caught with Adonijah. He has done what he should not have done. I didn't see that coming. Now, it says all of them rushed off. Does that include Joab? That's what I want to know. Joab, the head of the army, has he run off too? Adonijah feared Solomon, so he got up and went and grabbed hold of the horns of the altar. So grabbing the horns of the altar, if you don't remember this, if you did not hear it, when you go to the horns of the altar, this is where you can plead for mercy for things that you have done. It is when you have killed someone, you can go and plead for mercy and plead your case and those kinds of things. Solomon was told, "Look, Adonijah fears you. See, he has taken hold of the horns of the altar, saying, 'May King Solomon solemnly promise me today that he will not kill his servant with the sword.'" So he can use a spear. Ha ha ha. No, that just means he will not kill him. Solomon said, if he is a loyal subject, not a hair on his head will be harmed. But if, if he is found to be a traitor, he will die. King Solomon sent men to bring him down from the altar. He came and bowed down to King Solomon, and Solomon told him, "Go home." Okay, what do we have in the footnote there? Go to your house. Okay, so I don't know why we need a footnote there if all you're doing is taking from house to home. I don't see a distinction there. So, in other words, but also not in the kingly palace. So, Adonijah pleads for mercy. Solomon gives him mercy, but does give him a warning. If you're found to be a traitor, he will die. So, there is hey, you keep your head down. You don't do anything against me. You don't raise forces against me. You'll live. So go home. You're fine. Go ahead. Go away. Now, is Solomon going to follow through with this? Is Adonijah going to resent Solomon and do something against him? Not entirely sure which way this is going to go, but this does look like a beautiful case where somebody was trying to take control of a situation, elevate themselves. They surrounded them with people who wanted to agree with them and joined them. And then when the jig is up and it wasn't happening, they repented of it. I don't think this is just entirely fear from the standpoint of I want to live. I think in some ways there's a level of I solemnly promise, like I'm going to, I'm coming to the king. I'm acknowledging the king. Like, I think there's a level of promise there, of contrition there on some level. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think I can see that there. All right. It's a long chapter.